Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. I am super excited, y'all. I hope everyone have had an awesome weekend thus far. So in today's video, we are looking at inside day candles or inside week candles, and that just gives us a guide as to if it reached this place, we could possibly reach this target, or if it breaks below this, we could possibly reach this target. So that's why we go over the inside day candles. It's important to mark those levels if you trade these particular stocks or tickers, or if you trade these, it's easy to mark the levels, set your alerts. And I always say this, y'all: trade what you see. I can't say that enough. So the first one on the list is Tesla. Tesla is an inside day candle, and that means if Tesla breaks above 173.81, which is right here at this 20 EMA on the daily chart, right? If Tesla breaks above this, then the target is 175.88. Now to the downside, if Tesla breaks under 170.36, the target to the downside is 168.51. And keep in mind, Tesla moves $7.69 per day. So it could range, and Tesla normally exceeds its ATR for the day. Let's say that. And I would say if you trade Tesla, be very careful. It seems as if we closed right under the 5 EMA, which is right here at the 172.43, 172.51. Let's see. Yeah, 172.39 is where the 5 EMA is, and we closed at 171.05. So we closed under the 5 EMA. So now the 5 EMA is resistance and the 20 EMA is resistance. So we need to be careful if we're trading Tesla to the upside. Just keep in mind, it is an inside day candle. I always say trade what you see and trade carefully. NVDA is another inside day candle. That means if NVIDIA, I'm going to go back. If it breaks above the 901.75, then the target is 907.39. To the downside, if it breaks below 875.30, then the target is 869.26. Keep in mind, it closed at 881.86, and it's right there at support of the 5 EMA and the 20 EMA. So if we break this level of support, we've broken through, I would say, some key level of support, and we could very well come, to the downside. And again, when the market opens tomorrow, anything is possible. NVIDIA moves $32.66 on an average daily. So trade what you see, because it could very well break this level to the downside and come down and find support on this 50 EMA, which is right here at the 815.79. So that's something to be mindful of, because that is within that ATR range that it could move either to the upside or downside. Let me say that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to move to the downside. I was just giving that as a target. So let's look at MRVL, MRVL. That is an inside day candle. As you can see here, if MRVL breaks above 72.32, above that gives us a target of 74.07 to the upside. And if it breaks down below 69.90, then the target is 68.56. Keep in mind, it closed at 70.16. So if we break this 69.90, we could very well come down, find support here at this 69.57. And if we break this level of support, then the target will be the 68.56. That's something to be mindful of. And MRVL moves normally $3.15 per day. That is the ATR for the day. So let's look at some FSLR. That's something I normally don't trade, but it was on my list, so I'll go ahead and give the total for that, or the numbers for that. If it breaks above the 187.88, then the target is 188.32. To the downside, if it breaks below 181.04, then 179.59 is the target, which puts us under the 5 EMA on the daily chart. And FSLR moves $7.32 per day. So that's something to be mindful of. Now, we have some inside weekly candles, and I believe PayPal is one of those. Keep in mind, PayPal normally moves $1.66 per day. Let's say that. And these are weekly targets. If PayPal breaks above this level of 67.26, then the weekly target is 67.36. So to the downside, if PayPal breaks below 64.16, then the downside target is right here at 63.55, which puts us under the 200 EMA on the daily chart. If we break that level, we are under the 5 EMA, we're under the 20 EMA for PayPal, and we could very well continue to the downside. Be mindful of that. So if you trade PayPal, I would say be very, very careful. The SQQQ is also an inside week. It moves 43 cents a day. Let's say that. So if you trade the SQQQ, if it breaks above 11.05, then the target is 11.14. If it breaks below 10.33, then the downside target is 10.23. And again, we are right there at support at the 5 EMA and the 20 EMA. We are above that. So that is our support range right now. And that's around the 10.75, 10.79 area. If we break to the upside, keep in mind this 50 EMA at 11.31 is trouble. That's our resistance, as well as the 11.91, which is the ATR trailing stop. So if you trade SQQQ, those are the levels that I would definitely be mindful of to the upside and to the downside. QQQ is another inside week. It's a weekly. So if it breaks above $446.33, then the upside target is 447.53, and that's a weekly target. To the downside, if it breaks below 436.28, then the downside target is 435.11, which is right here at the 50 EMA on the daily chart. And if you see these two white dotted lines here, the QQQ has a downside target. It has a downside gap. Let me rephrase that. It has a gap to the downside that needs to be filled at the 433.74, starting at that range all the way down to the 425.65. Could we go down to fill that gap? We very well can if we break this 50 EMA on this daily chart, which is right here at 434.97. So again, it is a weekly inside day candle. I would say trade carefully. Normally, I say I have an alert set here. If it breaks 432.52, it lets me know that we could very well come down and fill that gap to the downside, because that will be under the 50 EMA on this daily chart. So if you trade QQQ or the SQQQ, please be very, very careful. That's funny just saying that, right? So looking at MU, Micron, it is an inside week candle. That means if it breaks above 129.70, then the target is 130.54. To the downside, if it breaks below 119.93, the downside target is 119. We are right at support at the 5 EMA right here at the 123.71. It closed at 122.52. So it's under the 5 EMA. So that wouldn't be the, so right now the 5 EMA is our resistance. Let me rephrase that. That 123.71 is our resistance. We closed at 122.52, and MU moves $5.77 per day. So that's something to be mindful of. And I think NVDA is our last one. NVDA is an inside weekly candle. That means if it breaks 124.80 within the week, then the target is 127.67. If it breaks down below 112.36, then the downside target is 111.17. And it is right here at the 50 EMA and the 20 EMA. It closed at 117.02, and the 50 EMA is at the 117.41 area. So that's an area of right now we need to pay attention to if you're trading in phase, to say, is it gonna bounce up, or is it gonna continue to the downside? I always say wait and let it show you what it's going to do. Wait on your candles to close and pay very close attention to what your charts are telling you. This week should be an interesting week, let me say that. So y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. Keep in mind, these are just targets. It gives us an estimate, an idea of how the stock could run, or, you know, targets, possible targets. And again, nothing is guaranteed in the market. I need to say that again. Nothing is guaranteed in the market. Anything is possible. Anything can change at any given moment. Let's say that. Trade what you see. And yeah, I hope these are helpful. Hope everyone had an awesome weekend. And look, we look forward to a new trading day and new opportunities. So I would like to leave you with this as always, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking your time to listen, and be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.